Here we go. There we
There
go.
you go. I got to learn how to do that.
Okay. Now, am I upside down to you? No,
No,
there I am. Okay, there I am.
you are good.
Okay, great.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started. We got these amazing agents jumping on the call. It is Friday. Can't believe it's already the 23rd of July. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome though.
It is. You know, this is the most exciting time, right? For real estate, this is where most of the activity is happening, is right in the summer, in the cusp of the summer. So this is awesome. So Fred, let's do this.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
I'm kind of nervous, even though I'm in front of everybody every week. I'm kind of nervous. That's kind of weird.
Well, don't be. You know, all these amazing agents on the call are awesome. You know, we have high-level producing agents, mid-level, and then we also have newer agents on the call. So it's great to have a combination of different experiences. No difference than when we started, right?
Right, exactly.
Beautiful. Well, tell us a little bit of the Reader's Digest of how long you've been in real estate, what got you into real estate, and where you're at. And we'll also talk a little bit about, you know, the pandemic and how you needed to shift with your business.
Well, I got into real estate in 2005. And prior to that, I know I only seem like I'm only 20 years old, but I'd come into, yeah, I know. After real estate, I had already been in sales. I was a hairdresser, owned my own salon for 17 years, did platform work. And then during that time, I was also a minister, but I actually got called to pastor. And so after that, I decided to close my hair salon and go work for United Airlines. And so work for United Airlines, I was a supervisor there. And then all of a sudden, 911 happened. And when 9/11 happened, I decided to get my real estate license. And so I said, no one's ever going to lay me off again. So went into real estate in 2005. And then after I did that, I was doing well. My first year, I made $135,000 after my cap. And so I was like, this is the business for me. And it took me a while before I went into real estate full time. It took one of my mentors, Frank Kinney, to walk past my desk and say, when are you going to stop using your job as a crutch? And so I decided to quit my job and go into real estate full time. During that time, I think in the 17 years, I maybe was out of the business for about a year and a half, 2 years, but I kept my office. And so I'm a husband of one, a father of three. And so that's where I am right now, as far as I'm still dual. I consider everything I do as an entrepreneur. I'm still a pastor. I still do real estate. I still have other businesses that I do. But all in all, real estate is what puts food on my table.
That's awesome, Fred. I want to go back to what you said earlier. You said something about a cap. So I'm assuming that you've been with Keller Williams since you started real estate?
Oh, you know what? I started off with a legal age company that starts with a C and ends with a drinking age company. I'm not going to name the name, but if you know, I started off with them. And I remember right when I got my license, they sat me in an office and said, wait for the phone to ring. Right. And so during the time, this was around the time my wife's birthday, and I took my wife out to McCormick and Smith's and ran into somebody that I used to do hair with. And she told me that she was with Keller Williams. This is important. She told me she was with Keller Williams. And I was like, great. The next day, I went and met with the team leader in Torrance, and they asked me, who do you want your sponsor to be? I named her as my sponsor, but we could not get in contact with her. We didn't know who, no one could contact with her. So she lost out. Oh, wow. That was crazy. But I went straight from there to KW. I've been with KW for my full career. Torrance, I was there from 2005 until 2017. And then from 2017 to 2019, I went and assisted in opening the Market Center, the KW Market Center in Inglewood, as first as a productivity coach and then as the team leader. And then after we got that running, I got homesick and I decided to come home, back home to Torrance.
I love it. That is an awesome story. You also mentioned, Fred, you started and got your real estate license in the early parts of 2005, right? Is that
right? Right.
so? How,
Exactly.
for the most people that are on the call, they didn't have to deal with the crisis that ended up happening in '08. Tell us a little bit more on how you navigated through that big wave, and then we'll also touch a little bit on last year, 2020, the pandemic, and how you needed to shift in your business.
Okay. My saving grace was when I started off, many of you know it as, I forget what it is now, but it was Camp 443 back then, the training that Keller Williams had. I also got into coaching with MAPS coaching. So I was literally paying $1,000 a month for coaching, which really boasted my business. The one thing my coach told me, because I felt it was unethical for me to talk with people who I pastored in my church. And in business, they say you have to make sure you connect with everyone. Well, my circle were people that I pastored. And I said, I can't, I think it's unethical for me to go to them to talk to them about real estate. And so my coach made one statement. He said that you have to talk to somebody. And if you don't talk to nobody, you're going to have no business. So I decided to go the route of making sure I knew everything I could about foreclosures, probates, divorce, everything that was distressed property. And so my first year, now listen, this is my first year in real estate. I believe I closed 13 deals, and that was from May until December. And that was all with dealing with distressed properties. And then from those were referrals. Now, 2020 was different from everybody. Everybody couldn't go out. I was already used to Zoom. I was already used to talking to people in digital fields. I just kept moving. I just kept moving. I didn't do what I wanted to do in 2020, but it set the groundwork for what happened in 2021. Many agents just gave up in 2020, some of them, not everyone. But I just kind of reinvented myself, didn't let people take me for granted in knowing that I was still a real estate professional. And so planting that seed in 2020 took me to where I am in 2021.
Love that. Love that. No, it definitely puts things into perspective, in my opinion, because you had to deal with two waves. The market of '08, and then the uncertainty of 2020, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
knowing how to navigate any circumstances that come your way, right? If you can just elaborate, what is the one thing that has generated, the majority of business for you? What is it, the one practice that you utilize effectively each and every day?
The one thing that I've used every day is social media. It is in social media that I reach out to my sphere. I reach out to those that don't know. I share through my buyers program. I share, the ability to purchase with no money down. Even if they don't do that program, they still can get into my lead coffer, as I call it. But one thing that stuck with me with 2005, 2008, 2020 was the one thing that Keller Williams was based on. Remember, Keller Williams started uh, in a rough market, in a shifting market, in a crazy market. And so if your company knows how to navigate out of a rough market, and that's how it got its start, then that means that you should follow that trend. One thing that kept me was the book Shift. Being able to be steadfast in a shifting market, because anytime you're in a shift, and this is what I tell people, it's going to get rough. Meaning, if you've ever driven a stick shift, whenever you change shifts, you're going to jerk. There's all now how long you stay in that jerk is up to you. I'm going to share a story. I used to work for Nissan Motor Corporation. Now, if you see it off the 405 freeway, it's called Tire Co. I was in a building and I worked midnight shift, and my boss, they always used the company cars, which was a Nissan truck. I had never driven a stick shift in my life. And this one Saturday, he said, I want you to take the car and I want you to go to the burger place and order some burgers. Well, that 5-10 minute drive took me 30 to 40 minutes because I didn't know how to navigate the shift. So I was there driving, shifting, jerking, and sometimes that's the way business is, sometimes, but you got to stay the course. And when you stay the course, you'll be able to get the burgers and you'll be able to get it back to your business. So that's just my little story.
I love that. We all have to start somewhere, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Either you get frustrated and you quit and stop, or you continue plugging away, right? Each and every time, just like the stick shift manual. And I know, I remember my first experience with a stick shift. It was an '87 Chevy Blazer.
Mm.
Awesome. When did you started thinking about maybe creating a team? You mentioned you were a productivity coach, you were a team leader for the Inglewood Market Center. You helped launch that market center. Tell us a little bit more about anyone that wants to create a team. And you got such an amazing team, and I only hear great things about the team leader and the rainmaker on this.
Well, um, I am really a proponent for new agents. And so after, seeing KW Inglewood as we were moving forward, I was coming back to Torrance. There were a lot of agents that because I actually taught for California real estate schools. So there were a lot of students that went to class, graduated, and were looking for a brokerage to work for. And so they knew me. So I called on them, and to be able to effectively help them, I said, hey, why don't you come on, join our team? I run things a little bit different. But all in all, we allow you to be yourself, learn from someone who's been there, done that, and then go forth in the business. So that's the way we do it. We kind of make it so that they can learn and know that it's not impossible as a new agent to get out there and make $100,000. It's perfectly okay. No one can change that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have to agree 100%. It's when you pour into the agents, and prime example, as you said, you can make 100,000, 150,000.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're plugging away, dedicating your time, and really being efficient. And what is that one thing that you can just plug in and run with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Now,
Well,
I don't know what. Go ahead.
yeah, we have a question here. I believe it's from many. What kinds of things do you post on social media, and how often do you do?
Everything. I post everything. I let people know everything that I do, every facet of my life. Now, understand, as a real estate agent, you have to have more than one Facebook page. You have to have more than one Instagram page. You have to have your personal. You also have to have your business. So anything that you want people to know, you want to place it on there, whether it be, as I've been blessed to have my next grandbaby was born on the day before yesterday. And so that's basically what I've been posting. I post my listings, I post my buyer workshops, I post my open houses, but I just don't post it on one setting. I post it on my business, on my personal, on my Instagram. And I always include my name and my number. And it always ends like this. If you look at any post, if you're interested in selling or buying, make sure you contact me at fhoward@kw.com or 210-368, my number there. So many times I get DM'd about my home buyers program. I get DM'd about how can I do this or that. I still have a client from 2007 that wasn't social media. It was actually by postcard. I still have a client from 2007. She's moved to Texas. She still has property here. I've sold most of her properties and she has one left. And so we're still managing that property. So it's all in connections. It's all in how you communicate. You want people to know that you're not just a realtor, that you're a real person, that you have a real life. And, even on my message, I tell people, they say, when can you call me? I said, you can call me anytime. If I don't answer, I'm either on the phone with a client, with my family, or sleep. So you know that when you call me and I don't answer, one of those four things I'm doing. So you'll be okay.
Love that. Congratulations, by the way, being a
Thank
grandfather
you.
the second time, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's
And
so exciting.
I'm headed to Spain in September, and I can only relate that to my real estate business, being able to go to where one of my goals when I set with KW, one of my goals is to be able to visit my children anytime I want to. And because my children are in Spain, in Atlanta, and I have one here. So that's one of my goals. When I can say, okay, I can pick up the phone or schedule a trip to go, I can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned you juggle multiple businesses. How do you have time to squeeze in real estate? And more so, what is the future? What does the future hold for you, Fred, in the coming years?
Okay,
I know that's a
so that
two-point question there.
yeah, people say you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. I tell myself I'm a jack of all trades and a master at the one that I'm working on at the time. So ministry to me is my whole business. Ministry is everything I do is ministry. So I can't separate that from my real estate, from my church, from my newspaper, from my marketing. I cannot separate all of that. All of that is there. So literally, when you see me, I am living all of my businesses all at the same time. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm always looking at how can I help people build their business with my marketing company? How can I help people buy or sell their house with my real estate? How can I help people live a better life in ministry? So everything is congruent together in everything I do. At any point, if someone needs me as far as a word of encouragement, I'm there. If someone needs me as helping them to help their family. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm also a life insurance agent. But guess what? Guess what? Let me tell you what all of these things congruently does. I just sold a house in Carson. That house sale in Carson was a result of me helping someone with their pre-need burial plan who was sitting in front of me because they were getting their business together with insurance. And I mentioned to them, I said, listen, I don't have cards for everything, but I'll give you my real estate card. And they said, well, I'm thinking about selling my house. 6 months later, I called them just to check up in on them. And they said, oh, can you come by? I need to sell my house. And guess what? We just closed last month for 785. So remember, that wouldn't have happened if I did not put myself in the place of making myself available, not only for life insurance, but also for real estate.
Love that. That is awesome. Having multiple streams of income, right? We always talk about
Exactly.
passive income. We talk about it, and yesterday at our ALC, we were talking about profit share, right?
Hmm.
Another source of income. I love that. And the importance, it's all about the connections, right? And the connections
Exactly.
in every area, not just necessarily from lead generating. You can be at an event and strike a phenomenal conversation that leads to that opportunity. And I'm a true believer to that, Fred.
And
Yeah, that's
if I can share with this, I do a little bit of acting, Simon. So I do that to get away from all of the rigmarole. So one of my producer has a niece that is a real estate agent, and every time he had a show, she lives in Philadelphia. She would come out and she would enjoy the show. We had a stage show, and so every time she came out, I would give her a book. I would give her The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I would give her a shift. I would give her one. And so just this past year, I think it was right before the pandemic, I never forced her, but I said, listen, I want you to talk to a team leader. Got on the phone to talk to a team leader in Philadelphia, and she signed on. She signed on. And man, she has built a massive team in Philadelphia. And you wonder, how do I know that? I know that via profit share because I got my biggest profit share last month. Basically, it was from her team that
wow.
she had built in Philadelphia. So that's awesome,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the beauty of Keller Williams, right? Where
Hmm.
you can have those relationships, influence them about Keller Williams, and navigate them to speak with the team leader in any market center. And if they join and name you as part of the influence and introduction of Keller Williams, they fall under your downline. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Love that
Absolutely.
story. Love that story. Awesome. Okay, and then what does the future hold for you, Fred? Oh, one thing that I did want to ask you, what systems do you utilize? I know because you juggle so many businesses, what are some of the systems that you use effectively in your business, your real estate business?
Well, I use a system right now that I've adopted that, and I'll share with everyone later. I'm about to launch it. I'm a businessman, so I'm about to launch it within the next month. But this allows voiceless voicemail, texting. It allows you to take communications from Facebook or Twitter right into your CRM. It allows you to do email blast. It communicates with you and lets you know when a client comes in. You can call from the platform. It is an awesome, and that's what I've been using lately. I've been using lately because I can do video emails. I've used and still use what is it? The video service, that I use BombBomb. I use BombBomb. I use AIM Social, Artificial Intelligence Social. I use what is it that I provide for my team is not only RedX, but also Cold Realty Resource. Cold Realty Resource, many of you, if you don't know, it allows you to get phone numbers and email addresses from homeowners so that you can reach out to them on an effective basis. And so those are the tools that I use. I started off with Top Producer. I still use Command because Command actually connects everything together. It allows me to do my social outreach that I need to do. So I use Property Radar for foreclosures. I use a multitude of tools that allow me to connect with people. So I give myself no excuse that I don't have any business. I cannot blame anyone else of not having any business other than myself. And my biggest hurdle and my biggest obstacle is that P word, procrastination. That is, I know I have identified that, I know that, and I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that.
That's awesome, Fred. I'm going to go ahead and open it up for the audience if they have questions. And I believe Alexandra has a question for you, Fred.
Oh, okay, great,
Hi.
great.
Yeah. So I'm reading that book, The One Thing that Simon gave me. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you're multi-passionate, which I am too. I did health and fitness for 10 years. I still have coaching clients. I also work with an investment broker who works with commercial
Mm-hmm.
realtors and doing this at the same time as a new agent. So how do you balance all of your passions and businesses? Like, do you live by your schedule or how does it work? Because I'm also,
Oh,
whenever I meet people too, I'm like, oh, how can I help them? How can I plug them into
right.
whatever thing I'm doing?
Right. So, the book One Thing says, concentrate on that one thing, everything else will fall into place. Remember, I said my one thing is ministry. So everything I do is considered that one thing, meaning I attach everything I do to how can I help someone better themselves or better their situation. So that is my one thing that actually drives it. Now, if ministry wasn't my one thing, I would be all over the place because, of course, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But ministry, the ability to help somebody, to umbrella, to cover someone in every facet of what they do actually drives what I do. So there may be a time that I may be doing something else that real estate comes in and I have to recalibrate where I am. So and sometimes it get messed up because I have a call answering service that I use, which you may be familiar. It's called Ruby, and they know my business. They answer the phone as the offices of Frederick Howard, but sometimes they don't get it. So one time last week, I got a call from someone, and the operator said they want to sell their house. So I got on the phone with them, and they were like, okay, when can I meet with you? I said, well, our offices in Inglewood are still virtual, so we can meet via Zoom. And so when we got on Zoom, I was like, well, I saw that your house is worth this much. They were like, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't want to sell our house. We want to get pre-need insurance. So it's sometimes it gets deflected. However, when you have that one thing, that passion, and I hear that you stated you have a passion to help people, you make that passion your one thing, and that passion will drive everything else that you do. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexandra. Any other questions for Fred?
Yes, this is Monty. You mentioned a lot of tools, and I wasn't able to get them down quickly. But would it be able to? Can you just share like what are the tools that you use? Maybe we can write it up. But one question I have about Redex, and I'm actually trying to figure out between Redex and Mojo. And do you really need dialer, or how important the dialer is if you have all the numbers anyway, right? So can you answer that question?
Yes. Well, contrary to most people who are coaching, I get confused with dialers. So I've had Mojo. I just get confused with it. So I provide it for my team. Um, I use Property Radar. Property Radar is what I use for distressed properties, foreclosures, and trust deed sales. Cold Realty. I'm sorry. People are calling. Am I there now? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Cole Realty Resources is what I use to get names and phone numbers to do circle prospecting. So circle prospecting, if you're not familiar with, you can catch any listing and do a circle prospecting around that listing. It doesn't even have to be yours. You just have to call people and let them know that there's an available listing, that if they need help, that you can call them. So I use Cole Realty Resources for that. And also you can reach out Realty Resources for renters who are maybe interested in purchasing. I also use another system that I'll probably let Simon know what it is about, but this is an all-inclusive system that allows you to market a whole marketing suite all in one. So that's coming up soon. I'm not privy to let you know the name of it yet, but I will. You will know within the next month or so. But that's a full marketing drip campaign for your buyers, sellers, um, buyers, sellers, open houses, everything you need all in one particular product. And so those are the main ones that I use.
Did you also say Boomtown?
I use, no, I use, gosh, I used to use Boomtown. I do not use that anymore. I use the video component of, gosh, what's the name of it? It starts with a B also. I think I said it. BombBomb. Right. I use BombBomb. Yes, I use BombBomb. So I use that for my videos and reaching out via email with a video email.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Monty. Any other questions before we close out?
One more quickly. How important is distressed properties right now, in the current market? It is very important now. If you take the lead of one of our other top producers, Michelle Brown, their team has already been getting ready for that. Now is don't wait until it happens before you jump in. Now is the time to start either letting people know who you are. You don't have to say you're in foreclosure, but just kindly, let them know, hey, I'm a realtor. If you need any help, let us know. Now is the time, because people have not paid their mortgages, and they're going to be they're going to have to either pay it up or foreclose or sell. And so people who are renting have not paid their rent. It's coming that they're going to have to get out, and landlords are going to be looking to sell their properties. So now is the time you may not want to, but it is a good time to start working on distressed properties. One more quick question. How many calls do you make every day? And do you just call from your phone, or do you have, I know you just said you don't like the Redx dialer that much because it confuses you, but like how many calls is a good number of calls that you think you make today, every day? I don't make as many calls as many people do. I make anywhere between 10 to 20 calls a day, and that is from my answering service. So it actually comes from my Ruby phone number. It actually comes from that number. It's guided to my cell phone, but I also have a Google number, which is good to get. And then I have an answering service so that they'll always get a live person on the phone. Got it. Thank you so much.
Good questions, Monty.
Yes.
I'll leave it up for one more question. Anyone? All right. Well, Fred, thank you very, very, very much, sir. Really appreciate you having a candid conversation with the group on a Friday morning. Really means a lot to me, and I know for the rest on the call. So thanks again. Congratulations on the new. It's a son, right? It's a grandson.
It's a son. Yes. His name is Zion Manuel.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
And I want to thank all of you guys that joined in today, seeing my measly face on the email. I appreciate you all coming in, and anything that you need, if you need to reach out to me as an ALC member, our responsibility is to help you where you are. So if you need to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at area code 323-210-3658. And so just like I tell you, if I don't answer the phone, I'm either on the phone with someone, with my family, sleep, or in the field. Okay, so go ahead, give me a call. I'm available. Just, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you, everyone. Have a phenomenal, productive Friday. Have a beautiful and safe weekend, and we'll see you on our next call. Thanks again, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.